Tom Aspinall just knocked out Curtis Blaydes just a minute into round one of his interim title defense fight. So, what really happened in this fight? Let's break down and get into it. Immediately, the fight starts out and Curtis Blaydes is throwing the 1-2. He is in an orthodox stance with his left leg forward and he is jabbing with his left hand and throwing his right cross. Anytime Aspinall gets close to Blaydes, he's pumping out this jab, throwing the right hand, following it up. We can see Aspinall's defense is parrying the right hand with his lead hand and blocking against any potential left hooks while also backpedaling up to get out of the way of these dangerous strikes that Curtis Blaydes is throwing. We also can see that Curtis Blaydes is getting very low with his stance, stepping forward deeply with his left leg to avoid any counter shots. 4 seconds later, Curtis Blaydes throws the 1-2 again, and Aspinall defends against it. Now, at 4 minutes 39 seconds, Aspinall goes in for an attack. Curtis Blaydes counters again with the 1-2. 4 minutes 35 seconds, Aspinall comes in. Curtis Blaydes counters with the jab, which actually connects, stopping Aspinall's forward momentum. Curtis Blaydes throws the right hand, following it up, which misses. Aspinall is trying to blitz down Curtis Blaydes, throws a right hook, which misses, chases him down. Curtis Blaydes throws a left hook, which actually connects pretty clean on Aspinall, and Aspinall is throwing punching combinations at Curtis Blaydes, and they eventually end up clinching up against the cage. They clinch for a few seconds, break it off. 4 minutes and 12 seconds, Curtis Blaydes throws a jab as Aspinall's bounding forward and a right hand following it up. What is Aspinall's reaction now? He's trying to counter that right hand with a left hook of his own. Aspinall is starting to get the timing of Curtis Blaydes and is starting to become more aggressive. Here we have Aspinall stepping forward. Curtis Blaydes responds by stepping forward and doing what he's been doing the entire fight, throwing a jab. But what does Aspinall do? He throws a jab of his own. And let's back this up. So we have Curtis Blaydes 10 seconds into the fight, throwing a jab right hand. Aspinall backs up. 14 seconds into the fight, Curtis Blaydes throws a jab right hand. Aspinall is backing up. Aspinall starts to realize that every time he's getting close to Curtis Blaydes, Curtis is throwing this jab to try to counter his forward pressure. This is consistently throughout the fight. Every time Curtis throws the jab, Aspinall either backs up to avoid it or he does get hit by the jab. Here at 4 minutes 12 seconds, we can see that Aspinall pumps with his left hand. That draws a jab out of Curtis Blaydes, which connects, but Aspinall is quick enough and has good enough reflexes where even when it does connect, it does no real damage to him whatsoever. 4 minutes and 8 seconds, Aspinall approaches Curtis Blaydes, pumps out a fake with his left hand. He knows that this is going to draw out a jab from Curtis Blaydes because this has happened 5 times before in the 52 seconds that they've been fighting. Curtis Blaydes throws a jab. What does Aspinall do? He bounds forward. He beats the jab. If he was still here, the punch would have landed, but he has moved his head forward enough to the point where it's still out here to the left of Tom Aspinall before Curtis can bring it back to connect clean on Aspinall. And what does Aspinall do? He does what he's been looking for the entire fight. He throws his own jab and then a right hook to follow it up. And we can see that this jab actually lands really clean on Curtis Blaydes, and this right hand follow-up connects on the arm, but it doesn't actually hit Curtis Blaydes whatsoever. We can look at the replay here where Aspinall bounds forward, the jab misses. This was a wayward jab from Curtis Blaydes, but you also have to credit the speed of Tom Aspinall, where he's able to get in on fighters so quickly, pressure them. He picked up Curtis Blaydes' timing by coming forward and pulling back, and then once he knew what Curtis Blaydes was going to do, he just completely pressures him, beating Curtis Blaydes' rhythm that he had kind of instilled in Blaydes from the beginning of this fight. So we have this little exchange happening 5 times throughout the fight. In just the 52 seconds that it takes for Tom Aspinall to actually land the finishing blow. So this is super impressive striking IQ from Tom Aspinall, where he knows the reaction that his actions are going to elicit from Curtis Blaydes, and he has the tools in his tool belt to be able to perfectly take advantage of that reaction. And the power is undeniable from this man. He steps forward, he drops his opponent with a jab. This is a power jab. It's almost a mix between a jab and a left hook because there's so much body weight behind it. Tom Aspinall is basically just using it as a horn, and his entire body weight is driving that hand into the face of Curtis Blaydes. Blaydes has a questionable chin, but it's still pretty good at heavyweight. We saw Sergey Pavlovich put a beating on him for about 4 minutes of their first fight, in just the first round of that fight. And Blaydes was able to eat a lot of those strikes until he eventually got TKO'd. But he has a decent chin at heavyweight. He does not have a glass jaw by any means. And this getting dropped by a jab from Tom Aspinall is some serious power. We don't even need to go over the ground and pound sequence that Tom Aspinall did. He basically just got on top of Curtis Blaydes, landed some few shots, dropped him with a couple of the shots. He was out cold, flash KO'd maybe. With a few of those shots, Mark Goddard stepped in. Curtis Blaydes was looking kind of mad at himself, in my opinion. I know the commentary was saying that he was protesting the stoppage. I think it was a clean stoppage. I think that Curtis Blaydes was more disappointed in himself. But you cannot strike with this man, Tom Aspinall. I think the only fighter at heavyweight that has a chance of beating him in the striking is Ciryl Gane, and that's the fight that I'd want to see next, because I want to see someone get out of the first round with Tom Aspinall. No one's been able to do it since Andrei Arlovsky. So Tom Aspinall is legit. He has serious striking. He has serious striking power. He has serious speed in the striking. And I think that even though this fight was only 52 seconds long, we were able to see Tom Aspinall's elite fight IQ on display here. So this man has it all. We didn't even have to see his wrestling in this fight against the person that we thought that we'd have to see him prove his wrestling against. I want to see him fight Jon Jones, but if that fight isn't going to materialize, I'd love to see him fight Ciryl Gane or even Alex Pereira, because I do think that Tom Aspinall would entertain a striking match against Pereira on the feet. And yeah, I think that if you are still hanging on to the idea that Jon Jones is UFC champion, Aspinall just put that notion into the ground and has really staked his flag as the best heavyweight in the UFC and probably the world. Great performance from Aspinall, one of the best performances of the night. And man, I just need to see him fight more because all of his fights are too short for me. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching the video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and have a great rest of your day.